This is Dave McKenna, and Dave's solo piano playing sounds just like a full jazz trio. He's juggling the bass, the chords, and the melody between just his two hands. Oscar and Bill and George used to come to Boston just to see him play. But playing with three different sounds, but with only two hands, is brutally hard. And today I'm going to break down those three elements and show you how to combine them. And by the end of this video, we'll be playing our own three-hand version of the standard Alone Together. Every jazz combo has three separate jobs. When we sit down to play solo piano, we have to cover all three of those ourselves. The first of those is the bass, and it sets the foundation for the feel and the harmony. And then you've got the chords, which are comping in the middle, keeping everything swinging. And then of course we have the melody, which is the lyrical expressive, the voice sung on top. These are three distinct jobs that in a trio setting would be played by three different people. But as solo pianists, we have to do all of this with just our two hands. And if you sit down and try and do all three at once, well, you probably already know what happens. So we're going to come back to Dave McKenna's performance at the end of this video. And when we get there, you're going to understand all of the wizardry that he's doing to pull this off. But to get this full trio sound, we need to get all three parts in action. And I've got a method to show you to get us there. Have you ever sat down to practice, but you're just not sure what you should be working on at the given moment? Well, every Wednesday, I send out a free newsletter called the Wednesday Woodshed. And in each one of those, I give you 3 bullet points of things that I think you should practice to help you build toward whatever technique we're working on that week. The newsletter is completely free. You can join 9,000 of your jazz nerd friends and sign up for it down in the description. So here's the deal. Most of the time, when we have a great solo pianist like Dave playing, he's actually only playing 2 of those 3 parts at any given time, but he's switching between which 2 as he plays. We're going to look at this over the tune Alone Together, and we're going to look at these kind of 3 different sets of pairs. The first one is we got the melody in our right hand and the bass in the left. Our next pair is the melody in the right, and our left hand is going to comp chords and kind of keep the rhythm and feel going. And now our third pair, which you could probably guess, is moving the chords to our right hand and then playing the bass on the bottom and the left. So what we need to be able to do is play this entire song from top to bottom in all 3 of these different sets of pairs. Once we can do those fluidly, then the question becomes, how and when do we actually switch between them? These 3 sets of pairs can be prioritized in different ways. And the way that you prioritize them is what gives you your signature sound. So like Dave McKenna really liked to emphasize the bass. So he played a lot with his bass on the bottom and then alternating between chords and melody in his right hand. Now, Bill Evans had a completely different style, right? But it's made up of the same 3 ideas. He leaned much more on the rich, colorful chords in his left hand while prioritizing the melody. Now, Oscar Peterson really prioritized the rhythmic comping and the swing feel in his left hand, and he'd reach down and grab some bass notes every once in a while. So when you work on this yourself, I want you to pick what your most important pair is going to be. That's going to be your default. And then when there are gaps to fill, you're going to switch it up. Let's try this kind of slow and out of time. I'm going to play melody and chords as my pair. Now my melody is holding, so this is an opportunity for my right hand to come down and take over the chords from the left hand, and now my left hand is free to come down here and play a little bass. And now the melody comes back, so I gotta move my right hand back up to play it. Maybe my left hand will stay down here and play bass. Okay, now I feel like I need some chords. There's this big gap happening, so my left hand will come up and play the chords. And my right hand came down to play chords when my left hand went down to play bass. So I'm just shifting between which sets that I'm playing. I'm not trying to do all three at once, but sometimes the greats like to take it one step further. All three, bass, chords, melody, happening at the same time. Oh, and a key change just for fun. And now we're in full-on stride. Now, as you can imagine, this is kind of technically tricky, but the trick to being able to do this is to practice these pairs in a single hand, right? So playing chords plus melody in just your right hand and bass plus chords in just your left hand. And then you get like some more options you can use to juggle them together. So there are a few ways that we could do this. If we wanted to play the bass and the chords in our left hand, we could do a stride piano kind of thing like we just heard Dave doing, which if we do it in like a two-feel syncopated stride, it would sound like... My left hand doing both the chords and the bass. Our left hand could also do what my friend Jeremy Siskin calls a left hand shuttle, which is the same idea where our left hand covers both the bass and the chords, but we're not going to be so strict about the rhythm. It's not going to be this like ragtimey boom chuck kind of thing. It could be... So we need to be able to do the same idea in our right hand, but this time pairing the melody with the chords. Or we could combine both of those pairs together and play what's called a chord melody. Oh, this one's one of my favorites. You play the melody and the bass pair, but then when the melody is holding, both hands come down into the middle and they comp rootless voicings together. Okay, now obviously this ramps up the difficulty quite a bit, but that's what makes the greats the greats. So let's go back and listen to Dave McKenna one more time. And now you know what to look out for. Bass, chords, melody, and look at how he switches between those little pairs of them. Okay, so he's got chords and melody. Still chords in his left, melody in his right. He's starting to bring in a little hint of bass notes. I mean, he's put the roots on the bottom of those chords now. Notice how his right hand is hitting some chords too when it feels like it. Key change. Now his right hand is filling out the chords a little bit more. Man, that left hand is insane. Pushing the tempo. Another key change. Another key change. Nice. Chords plus melody in his right hand, with the chords and the bass in his left. Bringing all three of them together. Another key change. Full on stride in his left hand now. So if you've been watching this thinking, I've been doing too much, I've been trying to jump straight to the end and play all three parts at the same time, you're not alone. That instinct has a name. I call it the advanced beginner trap. And once you understand it, you're going to understand why your playing has plateaued, but more importantly, you're going to know what to do to break through that plateau. So if you want to understand that more, you need to watch this video right now.